Hey guys, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to ya. How was your guys' Christmas?
It was great, you know. Got a lot of gifts.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How Orange County, spent some time in Orange County. Do you feel like you understand white America a little better?
Yeah, I've always had very clear insights of white people.
Yeah.
As an Indian person, for whatever reason, you can sneak in to the white culture.
Yeah. That's true.
It is true.
Yeah.
White people view Indian people as harmless.
We do. It's,
non-threatening.
It's spiritual and and smart.
Yeah, so we just have infiltrated and now
It's true.
taken over.
Yeah, you guys really are like, I would say, a brown skin group that white people don't find threatening.
No.
We don't have much of a problem. Although, I mean, we told that story about ICE bagging up a bunch of Indians in where Michigan.
That was a mistake.
I think that was a mistake. They probably thought, like, these Mexicans look weird.
Yeah. They're like, what's up with all the mustaches on these Mexicans?
I don't know about that. I think we might have a mistake here, Dave. Oh, man. Okay, so good times. Anand, good times?
Great times.
Okay, good.
How was yours?
It's so good.
Yeah.
I'm actually still there.
Okay. So
Ohio,
what's funny
you know?
is, guys, we're recording this before Christmas.
Yeah.
Full transparency.
We actually leave tonight. Yeah. So, but we know how it's going to go. You know, yours is going to be exactly as described. Everything's going to be great.
Yeah.
You love your Orange County family.
Love it.
I'm going to be back in Ohio in the living room.
Can we get an interview?
Yeah. This time you can.
You have 4 days.
Yeah. Plus, it's at my home where I grew up.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more like on our terms.
Yeah.
Like meaning like when you're at Aunt and Uncle's house, you got to sneak off into the back room.
Now you can just quietly.
Yeah, and now there's plenty of time because also at my Aunt and Uncle's, I stay in a hotel. At home, there's no nice hotels around, so I'm in the basement or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe my
Just
childhood.
like the old days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really humble yourself once a year.
Angry skater.
Yeah. Just get mad. I might staple a couple old skate pictures on the wall like the old days and just get pissed off. So anyway, I'm sure it's going to be great. Merry Christmas to all of our listeners. I hope you had a great holiday.
And happy Hanukkah.
And happy Hanukkah and whatever else you may celebrate.
Yeah.
Because this is an all-inclusive podcast.
All the holidays.
All of them. And whatever, if you have any good stories or anything like that, you know to always send it to us because we're always down for a good family story or maybe a debate or some sort of window into what's happening outside of our bubble.
Yes, indeed.
Side note, because I didn't see it on here before we jump into news, did you see that Tesla stock hit 420?
Yes.
And Elon did not miss the opportunity to troll the world.
All-time high. Literally.
Yeah. And he's just a master at it.
He won. He won big this year.
He won. I should have made him my winner.
Stock's just on fire.
On fire.
It was in the dumps 6 months ago.
Yep.
And people were kind of writing him off, saying he didn't know how to efficiently scale this company. And it's interesting because like Anand always says it, but like founder-led businesses are just so different.
Yep.
Because the founder will do anything to succeed.
Yeah.
That's where all the innovation comes.
Yeah.
You look at all the great companies.
I just love, like, I feel like we're truly, you know, like we talk about like, Steve Jobs was so great and look at all these great people. Like this guy is like once in a lifetime living.
Yeah.
We get to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, and it's the new age version where not only are you innovating so hard, but you know how to use Twitter so good.
Yeah.
And you're freaking trolling people.
Yeah. That's what I like about it is that he is the proper current day CEO. Like the Microsoft and the Google CEOs, they're great. They're very good at what they do. But like Elon's a rock star.
Yeah. And I think these people really don't understand because all of those same people that love his trolling and his social media antics and his smoking weed on Joe Rogan are all the people the day the Cybertruck came out that pre-ordered it, gave them $100,
Yeah.
screenshotted their order,
Yes.
posted that on Twitter.
It works. It's good for business.
Yeah, people just don't understand that.
They think that like they're not siloed. When those young people have money, the first car they're going to buy is a Tesla.
And that Cybertruck base is like 40 grand or something.
Yeah, which is affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you say that Apple fans, like the enthusiasm they have for Apple, is more or less than Tesla fans' intensity?
I think Apple's product is still so much more like dialed.
Mm-hmm.
that you can be like you can have the phone that's flawless with the watch with the at-home Siri. Like I think Tesla's still figuring out their product. I think if Tesla figures out a bulletproof line of cars, I don't mean that literally, but that's affordable, that's whatever, it will be the same.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla, like, you know, when Apple was in the 80s, it was a personal computer company.
Right.
We never thought they would do a phone, invade, you know, pretty much take over our home in every which way.
Yeah.
Tesla and Elon Musk have the potential that, like, they're going to get into trucking. They're going to get into, they may reinvent the convenience store because that's where you're going to go charge your car. Like, he may reinvent a lot of things on the peripheral of transportation that we don't
think
even.
about how easily he could reinvent the gas station, like the gas station / convenience store.
Yeah.
If there was like these Tesla marts
Charging,
where you charge and you go in and you get to use iPads, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like that I think that's where it could be in whatever 5 years. That would just be nuts.
Yeah. It's a revolutionary company.
Okay. Who's ready for some news?
Let's do it.
Let's talk about Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
So Eddie Murphy, I realize this is a little dated because we're, whatever, but Eddie Murphy was on SNL. Mm-hmm. This massive moment. I think the biggest moment from it that I think pretty much everyone probably saw, even if you didn't watch the episode, was all of them on stage. Tracy Morgan, Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock. A real legendary moment for comedy.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch any of the clips? Did you watch the episode?
I watched the monologue.
Yep.
With Eddie Murphy. I saw it online. Hysterical, because not only did he have like Dave Chappelle and all the guys on stage, he took a massive shot at Bill Cosby, which was hysterical. Yeah. So Eddie Murphy goes, I have 10 kids, and you've probably been wondering why I started working again, because I have 10 kids and they're expensive. And then he makes a joke, and he showed, this is what I look like when I did SNL. And he's like, guess what? Money don't crack.
Yeah.
And then he goes, if I had told you 35 years ago that I would be America's dad and Bill Cosby would be in jail for sexual assault,
even I wouldn't believe you. Yeah.
He's like, I wouldn't have bet that on me.
And they did a Cosby voice and said, "Who's America's dad now?" or something.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, Bill Cosby always used to take shot on Eddie Murphy in the 80s that his comedy was too raunchy and inappropriate, and
the irony.
And this is the irony in a lot of cases when, like, there's a group of people, like normally conservative people, that like take out on like comedians, take out on society.
You see it on the gay thing.
Yeah,
it's always the politicians that hate gays.
All come out of closet.
Gay.
Yeah,
or get caught.
Yeah, and so it's really interesting that like how history has kind of defined itself. I've saved all the other skits on YouTube because I want to watch like Bucket. I remember watching Saturday Night Live when those were happening, like reruns of it like years later.
Yep.
And I mean, he's just all-time great comedian.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how that goes. And then he has Coming to America 2 out.
Yep.
And the ratings was 9.5 million.
Right?
Coming to America 2? No.
Doesn't Eddie Murphy have a big Netflix?
He has
deal?
another one.
I know, that's Dolomite.
Yep.
Dolomite is my name.
Dolomite's Netflix.
Dave Chappelle said on stage, "This is half of Netflix budget here."
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, that moment definitely went viral.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, 9.5 million viewers. That's a lot.
You know what's impressive is SNL, despite everyone thought it was dead like a couple years ago, but they've somehow revived themselves and have these moments that go viral. So like Adam Sandler did the Chris Farley tribute. Everyone saw that. Yeah. This obviously everyone's seeing.
I don't know how, because SNL sucks.
SNL is actually a quite terrible show.
It's horrible. It's just
you can't watch the whole hour, but those clips, if you watched 1 hour, there will be one clip that's actually really, really good.
Yeah.
And that one clip goes so viral on a YouTube or an Instagram that I think it draws viewers the following week and says, I'll check it out. And then you watch it like, oh, this show sucks.
And it's just so weird because I think it's just so legendary.
Yeah.
That
it's an institution.
Yeah, no one's going to take it away. Anyone will go do it. It's an honor to go do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they had Eddie Murphy and Lizzo
Yeah.
So like the biggest star.
Yeah.
With whatever, the biggest comedian of all time, but man, it sucks. It's unwatchable.
It's so not funny.
It's so bad.
It's so not funny. And like,
I just don't get how you don't evolve it. Like you have this legendary brand.
I'll tell you why. The fact is that now that when Saturday Night Live was popular in the 80s and 90s, there was very little outlets of like true raw comedy.
Yeah.
Right? Occasionally a special. Then the internet came along and everyone is cussing, telling the funniest jokes on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right? Saturday Night Live following network TV has no shot. You can't say anything edgy on NBC
But
ever.
even the way they do it, like just the SNL like style, which was probably great, like whatever in the 80s or something, has not evolved. Like the style of their comedy, and it's just not funny. I also have a controversial opinion.
Okay.
I think as someone who was just too young for the true Eddie Murphy thing, like I don't remember Eddie Murphy growing up.
What about Chris Farley?
Yeah.
Adam Sandler, do you remember those?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as someone, but like all the specials that are so notorious from Eddie Murphy, I didn't, and obviously I watched Eddie Murphy movies.
Yeah.
But like Coming to America, I didn't watch until I was an adult.
Yeah.
None of the specials I never watched. I think that his stuff on Saturday Night Live wasn't that good.
No.
I think that it's the people that used to love him that are enamored by it
Nostalgic,
and why it gets so many views. And I think that this is the wrong time for the wrong style. Like, I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah.
I think that everyone's going to have this nostalgic moment for all of his stuff. I think a lot of people are obviously going to check out his special, but I don't think it's going to work. I think that like he perfectly nailed a time in history when you could do that and when it was like, oh my God, like shocking, but you could get away with it. I don't think it's going to work.
He apologized for Raw and Delirious
Which
and
is
saying that
horrendous.
it was.
Did he really?
Yes.
That's bad.
You can't do that.
No.
And I don't know. I watched it without that like super fascination of Eddie Murphy, and I was like, whatever.
Yeah, but at that time it was so edgy.
No, I know, but I'm saying the SNL stuff.
Oh,
Like, I
SNL
think-
was not that funny.
Yeah, I think even the comedy special will be like, oh, that's funny. He's back.
It depends. If he pushes the envelope.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be tough because the reason Chappelle is timeless is because he's such a good storyteller on what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy was just like raw. Like he was just
Yeah.
But he
nuts.
also hasn't done anything in 30 years.
But he apologized. Like Dave Chappelle would never apologize.
No.
Dave Chappelle is pushing to the limit where comedy can go now.
He pops a cigarette in the middle of the stage.
Yeah, and he's like, I didn't know you could smoke here. He's like, you can't. He's so good. So anyway, we'll see. But that was when I watched it, I was like, man, I don't get it.
It's fair.
Okay.
Anyway, let's talk about Saudi Arabia for a second. Big jump.
Yep.
So first thing to talk about, Saudi Arabia obviously has had some bad, bad press, not looking too good for a couple different reasons. But I noticed they must be doing like Fashion Nova influencer deals.
Yeah.
Because all these influencers are posting. There's this big festival going on, MDL Beast Festival.
Yeah.
And I saw Emily Ratajkowski speaking out saying she wasn't going to go there because she didn't want to take their money. A lot of influencers are going there. They obviously have a big influencer marketing team. What is this all? Do you think is this something going on to try to make Saudi Arabia look better? Is there actually maybe fun stuff going on in Saudi Arabia that we just don't know about?
Well, this music festival that happened over the last weekend, 130,000 fans. It had Tiesto, Martin Garrix, Black Coffee, Swifts Beats, Rick Ross, Simi Hayes. Obviously, that's fun. We know that formula works.
Yeah. But have they been doing that festival?
I don't know.
New, right?
I would say in the last month, so many artists have gone to Saudi. Future went, Tyga went.
Yep.
That was like a hip hop festival.
All these guys are there.
I wonder if they're just starting all these festivals.
I think if you take a page from what Dubai did probably 5 to 10 years ago, which is normalize going to Dubai and like they opened up all the restaurants. They sent. I remember 10 plus years ago, a friend of mine, she was a publicist for a hotel in Dubai, a hotel group, and she had unlimited budget to bring anyone in the world out. And I remember seeing like how that changed the perception of Dubai. Because if Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are hanging out in Dubai, why can't I? And I think Saudi Arabia realizes they have a PR issue. I also think there's like a whole group of people in Saudi Arabia who are like, we need to make changes in our society. So there's this influx of money that's going into entertainment, influx of money going into bringing people, because they know if all these people all of a sudden on social media show up in Saudi Arabia and they're on camels looking cool, we're going to be like, you know what? Live from Riyadh. It's gonna and we're going to go, and it's going to be, and we're going to have a great time, because that's what will happen. And it's funny because then all of a sudden there's some outrage that came out, and like Rada leading the pack saying, I'm not taking the Saudi money. It's really referring to something that happened this week, which is 5 people were sentenced to death for the death of Jamal Khashoggi, the journalist that was murdered. And they're not showing that there's any clear link between the Crown Prince and this particular 5 people. And it was done in secrecy. It's CIA saying that the Crown Prince was aware, but Saudi Kingdom is denying everything. So that one incident is now causing certain people to say, okay, we can't do anything with Saudi Arabia. It doesn't make it right. The problem is the American government, American companies have taken so much money from Saudi Arabia. If we're going to have to boycott everything from Saudi Arabia, then I guarantee you, Twitter, Facebook, they've taken money from all of these companies.
Yeah,
so it's like ridiculous.
I think it's being magnified by Twitter outrage. Like, all these people are against Saudi Arabia, but reality, corporate America lives off Saudi Arabian money.
Has Facebook taken money from Saudi?
I'm sure they own stock in Facebook.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Why not?
I was just going to say the irony of posting on Instagram that you're not supporting Saudi Arabia. It's funny.
I mean,
but even whatever, you're taking your Uber, whatever.
Yeah, you're definitely taking Uber. You're definitely taking a lot
of people working WeWorks.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the same person sitting in there. We were drinking.
I will not
hate
support
Saudi Arabia. Give me my kombucha, owned by a Saudi Arabian pension fund, probably. And it's just the reality of the world is that things are very, very complex, and that's why it's really interesting if you study any president or really follow politics, how hard it is for a president of the United States, particularly, that has so much interest in so many different countries, how they govern, because it's not black and white. Yes, what happened to Jamal Khashoggi is wrong, but by punishing Saudi Arabia, it could essentially be punishing U.S. citizens. Yeah. So is it worth it? What's the fine line between human rights around the world versus hurting the American economy? Like, these are very difficult decisions that leaders have to make. And I think things in Saudi Arabia will actually evolve. Yeah. But it's going to take time. There's clearly clear things like this music festival, as silly as those things sound, those are big cultural moments. Why? Look at the people going. Yeah. They're all going to post, I had a great time in Saudi Arabia. Then someone's going to go on vacation there, and they're going to have a great time. And then all of a sudden, half the world is going to be traveling there, and tourists are going to come. American companies will show up, and the culture will change. Yeah. And it's just too hard to boycott everything Saudi Arabia because of an incident.
I think that's just like Twitter wokeness.
Yeah.
Because anyone who understands how the world works is that there's so many complex things going on, like Dee says, with all these different countries, like the NBA China stuff, right? There was all this outrage, but guess what? The NBA can't afford to lose China. Yep. It just can't.
Yeah.
And
we love Yao Ming.
Yeah.
But
that's your reference.
Yeah, and you have to, just because in America we do something our way, it doesn't apply for the rest of the world in different countries and the way things work. Yeah, human rights is a serious issue across the world, but there's a whole youth generation in Saudi that is going to music festivals now. That didn't happen 10 years ago. Yep. So that's progress. Yep. And even Anthony was just there over Thanksgiving, and he was like, women were backstage at the meet and greet, meeting Future, and that's progress, because that wouldn't have happened either.
Yeah. Women are driving.
Yeah.
Things are happening. It just takes time. And if some social media person says we're boycotting Saudi Arabia, you're actually hurting them.
Yeah. Because you're hurting their youth.
They're hurting their youth because they can't evolve.
Yeah, it's too much of a jam up. When I try to go into I guess maybe if you're Rada
Yeah.
And you make so much money anyway.
What do you care?
And you don't want to just publicly say Saudi Arabia is a great place to go. Sure.
Yeah.
Do that.
But like Emrata, who thinks she's doing like this huge like justice, social justice.
Yeah.
Emrata has fans in Saudi.
Yeah.
That have nothing to do with the government.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a jam. It's a jam up. I don't know what to do. I'm glad that I don't have to.
Yeah.
We don't. If we get offered group chat live in Riyadh, are we going?
100%.
Yes.
Okay.
So if anyone in
I might be the
Riyadh,
Emrata of the group.
You could be them left.
I'm gonna stay home and say, you know what? I do not support. Anyway, follow me on Facebook. I'll be at WeWork. Okay.
look like the accommodations are great. Everyone's posting a sick trip.
I'm sure they're going all out to look incredible. Yeah. This is probably the
People
trip
on
you want to be on.
helicopters and
Yeah. Did you also see, only because you talked about NBA and we talked about China and stuff real quick, the Nike just released a brand new Colin Kaepernick shoe?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I saw they did a big ad in Times Square.
It's sold out, right? I saw someone post it.
Do you know how sold out works?
Yeah, I know.
Let me show you how it works. It's sold out.
Yeah. And group chat merch just sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
I get it. And the thing about it is Nike captured their moment with Kaepernick. They did it. Nobody cares anymore.
I feel like they're running it into the ground.
Yeah, like it's over.
That thing can't sell, and those shoes are horrendous.
Yeah.
Like give them a good shoe.
Yeah.
At least.
Give a pair of Jordans.
I mean, that terrible Air Force One, come on.
Yeah. Like I don't understand the need to continue triple down.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need to close the chapter on Colin
And where do you go
Kaepernick.
from here is my only thing. If you're going to keep doing it, if you're going to keep selling product and whatever, where do you go from here? Because to me, I just think like, unfortunately, it kind of hit a dead end. Like had he got picked up and played for a team and then Nike went behind him big, like, hey, here's our campaign about how blah, 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 come back, whatever.
And it's like, yes, Nike's business has not been affected. It's been phenomenal. Guess what? NFL's business has not been affected. It's phenomenal.
Yep.
The only person that's not making money is Colin Kaepernick.
And he intentionally botched his own workout.
Yeah.
He did. I wonder if there's maybe they have an agreement where they have to release X amount of things.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, just thought it was worth mentioning. Did you also see, okay, so this is news to me. We ship a bunch of our trash to China.
Almost all of our trash and recyclables have been going to China for decades.
That's wild. And that's because they have a whole industry of reusing it?
Not really. Some of it gets reused.
What do they do?
Some of it just sits and pollutes the earth.
Why do they take it?
So it was a business, right? And what happened is now China's own economy has generated so much waste.
Yep.
They don't have the capacity to take our plastics anymore.
I mean, how can you just be the world's freaking toilet?
So, and some of those goods were being recycled. But now Americans are in a really, really tough place because we quote unquote recycle and it's going nowhere now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the real jam up. Like, do you think it's actually being recycled in China? Like, are people that foolish?
I thought they make like those cool new Adidas's out of it.
Yeah, okay, 50 pairs of Adidas sold out.
I'm all for recycling and helping the world, but man, if you're sending it to China, I don't think it's getting done.
Yeah.
And check this out. The real challenge, so there's this article that really dives into recycling, and one of the biggest things is, so when we recycle something at home today, if you put your glass bottles, you put your plastics, you put your cardboard, but let's say there's yogurt cup and you dump the whole yogurt cup and the food soils all the papers and the cardboard, it's not usable then. And so that goes into just pure waste. And so what's happening is because recycling is not done, it needs to go by category. Like glasses need to be put in their own case.
Yeah.
Boxes need to be in their own thing.
Which who the hell's going to do that?
Okay, so then that's your next issue. And then separating it in America, because labor costs are so high, are not feasible. So in other countries, they just burn their recyclables or their waste. And in America, because we have so much space, there's landfills that we still are filling up all these plastics with. So we're in this huge dilemma where we're in this like environmental friendly moment. We're probably recycling more than ever. We're just not recycling the right way. So like, how do you separate plastics, bottles, food waste, and actually be efficient so that there's a safe recycling industry? Because a lot of these recycling plants can't even take cities waste. Yep. And so a lot of cities are now like, we're done with recycling. Just make it all trash.
Right.
And send it into an incinerator and fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah, it seems like a jam up.
Yeah.
It seems like a real jam
It's
up.
a serious problem. And the way, if you just look at, I'll give you, in our own home, it is becoming so difficult to we have a recycling bin, trash bin, the garden bin. The amount of shit is in the recycling bin because of Amazon boxes and just boxes in general because of e-com.
Yeah.
We need like 5 recycling bins just to keep up. It's a serious issue. And the way transactions are going towards more and more the internet, this is going to explode.
Right.
We haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg of how many boxes and packaging. And where the hell does it go? And I'm a victim of it. Like sometimes the trash can's full, and I'll chuck my milk in the recycling.
I do it all the time, yeah.
And all of a sudden, that whole thing is ruined.
Yeah.
I just screwed that whole recycling bin.
I can't believe you don't. There's not even a system to like sort that.
Right.
I mean,
But the problem is if it gets soiled, it's just.
But a little bit of yogurt, and you're like, well, not usable.
Yeah.
This glass would have been good, but we have frickin' Dannon yogurt on it. Chuck it and send it to China. It's ridiculous.
So it's getting sent to other countries, but even India, who is taking a lot of it, has imposed restrictions. So it's just going to keep going to poorer and poorer countries. And eventually, I don't know, we're going to have a serious backup problem.
Yeah, it seems like Elon needs to figure out how we recycle better.
At least we got rid of straws, though, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
that was helpful.
What I don't get is like that campaign, whatever they did, whoever was behind it worked.
Yeah.
Really good.
They just
Put those same people on this problem.
Yes.
We might have something.
Problem is they love that Amazon Prime.
Does it not feel, I don't ever want to talk about like scary things and like doomsday stuff. Doesn't it feel like the world could be a little sketchy like for our kids?
Yeah, that's what your girl Greta keeps saying.
Got it. I mean,
In terms of what?
Just meaning like, I feel like when you add up all these things that are happening, even like job loss and the gap, middle class.
Yeah, I agree.
My guess is I think our kids will be fine. Our kids' are screwed.
Because we're fine.
Yeah,
we'll be dead by the
literally
time.
be on our deathbed like, wow, that's a lot of trash. Yeah. And then
But here's the thing. Every time there's a problem in our society, some little nerd comes up with something and figures it out, okay? So this trash thing, there's some 14-year-old sitting in his bedroom calculating how he's going to recycle, and then when he's 22 years old, he'll figure this out.
Okay.
Like,
or she.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, D.
Someone will, my point
Don't
being,
get canceled.
Or
whatever.
they, or Z or Zer.
Okay, some gender neutral person will figure it out.
Fluid,
my
gender
point,
fluid.
gender fluid, whatever. Fucking dog will figure it out. I don't care. Someone's gonna figure it out.
Somebody.
A fucking ringtail lemur will figure it out.
Okay. All right, we're going into no man's land. Okay, here's a good one. Gosh, we've talked about Christians a lot. And Mormons. We talked about religion, but we've talked a lot about Christians specifically on this show. And we've talked about especially the issue with Kanye becoming super Christian. And one of the common pieces of feedback, including from my own parents, were, who knows? He claims to have been saved. And God has always chosen, maybe questionable characters to spread his word. That's in the Bible. Apparently, there's this article that is the same thing that they are saying about Donald Trump. So I've been a little dumbfounded. I think I got lost on the Kanye stuff, and so that's what I brought up. Like, I mean, my parents aren't Trump supporters, even though a lot of people think they are now from the way we've talked about him, so I apologize. Even at the live show, like a guy came up to me, he's like, let me guess, your parents are super Trump supporters? I'm like, no, they're really not. But my point is, I think that it's always dumbfounded me how these Christians can still support Trump. He's literally gotten away with everything anti-Christian, from cheating to paying porn stars for sex to all the above. They seem to not care, at least a lot of them. So there's this article about how their justification is God has chosen unsavory characters to spread his word, and they're behind him.
Yeah.
What do we think here? It seems to me like
it's a great cop-out. I love it.
Cop-out. It seems to me like the way a lot of people treat religion, or at least Christianity, because I know that more, is like it can be interpreted any way. And so you can literally just justify anything and said, God, you don't think God knows what he's doing?
God loves tequila. He loves reposado.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
God likes unsavory things.
Unsavory alcohol. But even you could literally follow it all the way down to the trail of, well, God wouldn't have made Trump president. Do you think God doesn't know what he's doing?
Yeah.
Do you think blah, blah, blah? It just feels like, man, like at what point, like, are you going to stand up for the basis of what your religion, like where are the, so this just means if you're a Christian, it's whatever you're into and you use the Bible to justify it.
You can say anything or do anything.
Got it.
I think it's great.
You think it's great?
I fall really
well, a Christian
good
publication,
in this religion.
A Christian publication.
Yeah, you're right.
I can slide right into evangelical Christianity. What? God told me to do this. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You're perfect for religion.
And you'd say, fuck you. What were you saying, Anand?
So a Christian publication came out with an op-ed piece last week, just slamming Trump negatively. And then he came out, Trump bashed him on Twitter and said he's done more for evangelicals and more for religion itself than anyone.
Gosh. Okay.
I don't know how or what he did.
And they're with it.
They're with it.
They're with it.
This
That's
is
great for the
wild.
election.
This
Those
is really
people
wild.
vote.
Oh, yeah. You know who's not voting? The people tweeting.
No.
Emrata.
Emrata is not voting. The evangelicals are planning where they're going to go right now.
Exactly.
Like, I'm going to go to the local church. They're going to be doing a polling.
Yeah.
God.
We'll pray for the Donald.
Okay, what about India? Let's talk about your guys' motherland.
Yeah, a little dictatorship going on.
A little bit of dictatorship. Looks like it might run in the Indian mentality. D might have to go back home.
Yeah, go back to the motherland.
What's going on? They're choosing dictator tactics and controlling the internet, shutting down the internet, doing all sorts of...
There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in India right now that we're not particularly proud about.
Okay.
They're like USC.
You guys aren't proud of USC or India. This is not good.
So there's a whole portion of the country that's protesting, specifically Muslims, and Modi, the president, or the prime minister,
He's a great Hindu.
Turned off their internet so they can't mobilize.
All right. China would be proud.
Yeah.
So India has turned off the internet more in, I forget what the time period, by like a factor of 10 than any other country.
There's a lot. Indians need the internet. They love the internet.
I bet people over here, I bet Trump wishes he could turn off the internet.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you see this going on, you must be like, damn it, man, this would be so nice.
It's crazy. 500 million Indians are online. They use a number of ways to communicate. Obviously, your typical WhatsApp and Twitter and all that type of stuff. But this is like a serious problem.
So when they turn it off, all that's done.
So think about...
No WhatsApp, no nothing.
People are flying to a separate state to check their email.
Last year, the internet service was cut in India 134 times. This year, so far, 93. The closest competitor is Pakistan with 12.
Really?
Yes.
China keeps their internet on, but just regulates it super hard, right?
Yes. I like that.
Syria and Turkey have only shut the internet off once in 2018.
Syria. This is how bad we're compared to. Syria. There's a serious problem. I know a lot of people like Modi, but like this is fucking nuts.
It feels like a really, I mean...
Or just don't claim you're a democracy. Just tell it what it is.
It's just a scary theme across the world is all countries are just becoming super nationalist and want to exclude others that don't fall in with the majority. It's happening in India. It's happening across Europe.
Yeah.
It's happening here.
But here, at least, there are laws that, like, sure, there are some issues with illegal immigrants.
Right.
But if you are a citizen or if you are a,
of course,
proper papers, you're not included in society.
Yeah.
It also seems like a lot of anti-Muslim, like across the world.
Yeah.
Has it always been that way, or does this feel?
It's probably been like that for the last 20 years, and I think there's been a lot of migration from places like Northern Africa into Europe, so that caused a lot of problems there. India just has a large Muslim population. They've always had it.
But is this all because of a fear of extremist behavior, or is it
In terms of what?
like I'm talking about when you talk about like I know the Chinese detention camps are because of that.
Yep.
This India's anti-Muslim stuff, is it because of a fear
Yes,
of the
exactly.
radical side of it?
Yeah.
Got it. We have a Muslim travel ban.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, all over the world, Muslim people are fighting.
You know what they need to do?
What?
Throw a music festival and fly out some influencers. Muslim music.
Music con.
Sounds like they took your advice.
Yep.
The no alcohol is a problem with the music festival.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder what they did about that in Saudi Arabia.
They definitely had
Definitely no alcohol.
Really?
No
Yeah.
way.
Wow.
No alcohol, no drugs.
Wow. So no music festival. There's a place where music was playing.
Playing, yeah, it's not a festival.
Okay. All right, listen. Well, let's pay for our trip to Saudi Arabia and put some ads here if we got them.
Brought to you by the Saudi government.
Brought to you by. Okay, we're back. Let's talk about this. Lyft had a bit of a kerfluffle recently, and that is that it looks like, from what I gather, they started asking people to change their names or threatening to drop them from the platform for use of profanity. The problem was that means like if your name's Dick or like Gregory Cox
Or Cummings.
or Cummings. Cummings seems a little fringe. Like, come on, Cummings? Anyway, Dick, Cox, any name that sounds like a curse word seemed to be, they got like a threatening sort of notice that profanity is off their platform.
Including Mike Finger
Wow.
and a gentleman by the name of Kevin Cox was kicked off Lyft, and he's really frustrated.
Are these
He's
riders
really-
or drivers?
Writers?
Writers.
Oh
You
my
can't make
God.
your account.
Yeah.
Like, it's like if you, I don't know what, is there a big problem with people making their account name Seymour Butts? Like that's a big problem
I
on
have a friend
Lyft.
named Brent Cox. I wonder if he got kicked off.
He should be.
He should be. If not, we should report him.
Yeah.
I don't understand where in the company is this an issue that needs addressed. Okay, we have a lot of profanity being used as our usernames.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just a big flub. I mean, I don't know many people named Cox. C-O-C-K-S.
C-O-C-K-S?
Yeah.
Was Kevin's name Kevin C-O-C-K-S?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a rough last
I
name
wonder
to
if
grow
Rudy
up
Gay
with.
would get kicked off.
Good question.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. Dick butt kiss. Well, either way, jam up, because now it's in the news.
If there's a guy named Richard Cox, there is a Richard Cox. We know Richard Cox.
Yeah.
We know a Richard Cox.
We know Richard Cox. Richard, are you on Lyft?
We gotta ask. We should ask. Dick Cox. He
You
has no chance.
you have to put your name as Dick Cox and see if you get accepted.
He has no chance. Okay. All right. Well, listen, in the age of stories going viral, you got to be really careful about ones like these, because this is made for social media.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this big story. Uber has been all over the news, obviously, for obvious reasons. Travis Kalanick, the founder and really the man behind making Uber what it is. He was the CEO. He was replaced when, last year? Was it earlier this year?
I don't remember
June
now.
of 18, I think.
Got it. So last year, company goes public. Travis obviously has, under a new CEO, Travis obviously has a crap ton of stock. It looks like almost the moment that his sell-off period ended, he starts dumping almost all of his stock. He's dumped now 90% of his stock, worth billions of dollars. Which is, you guys know way better than I do on this stuff, but like, not only is it just not a good sign, because it looks bad when the founder is dumping all of his stock instantly and the stock's, not doing great. But is this because he just hates the company and he's like, fuck you guys? Or
It has to be. I don't even think there's another or. I think he's just like, you can't do it without me. Fuck you. I'm done with this
And
place.
like you said, it's not having a great effect on the stock either.
it has to be terrible.
When you're dumping billions of dollars worth of stock?
Yeah.
Because you'd have to
That
think this
suppresses
guy
the price.
knows that they're fucked then.
Or sure, he may have a completely different view of what they're doing and just doesn't think they're doing it the right way. So that's one. 2, I think he just wants nothing to do with the company.
Yeah.
Because he's like, if I don't have control of it, I don't want anything to do with it.
Guys like Travis, I would assume, they're not motivated by money.
Yeah.
It's more like, because he's obviously working his ass off in his next company and has more money than he ever needs in the rest of his life and for generations. They're just maniacal about betting on themselves.
Yep.
So I think that's what he's doing.
But it has to be like, if you're some analyst, you're looking at this and you're like, what does this mean?
What does this guy know that we
Does
don't?
he know something
Of course.
we don't?
I don't think he knows anything different than anyone else does. I just think he no interest.
And he disagrees with the way the company's being run.
Yeah.
That's clear.
Well, man, he's a savage.
Yeah.
But good for him, whatever. He made his billions.
Yeah, I mean, if he probably listened to my award show episode where I said the stock is going to plummet. So
Yeah, he probably did.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
That must
probably
be
felt
it.
that was the right move.
That must be it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Who's ready for Winners, Losers content? Christmas edition.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. D, who's the biggest winner of the week?
My biggest winner is Elon Musk.
Yeah, that's good.
I really wish I picked him really as winner of the year now,
Yep.
because after really seeing, I was just looking at how the stock had dipped, what people were saying 6-9 months, can this company survive? Will it go bankrupt? Hitting an all-time high at the end of the year with the big FU on Twitter. And there was an article, there was a post on Twitter, 2010, I think Tesla's market cap was like 3 or 5 billion.
Yep.
And General Motors was 52 billion. And they're ending 2019 with, let's see here, $76 billion market cap for Tesla, 52 billion for General Motors. So he's created so much wealth and value.
Talk about a buzzer beater for the year winner,
Yeah.
Gosh, I just love it so much. I think when all of these older people that don't get it, and who knows if he'll win or not. He does seem like a loose cannon, and all the ideas are very ambitious. But like, I feel like the type of criticism that he's getting is not accurate, and it's very aged, and it doesn't understand. Even the amount of criticism he got for the Joe Rogan thing, that was probably one of the best things he could have done.
Yeah.
When you're selling what he's selling.
Yeah.
It's not like he's selling software to Fortune 500 companies. You know what I'm saying? He's selling
a brand,
$40,000 cars to people who love pot. And whatever, he's just a genius. I think we're very lucky to be able to watch this madman at work in our time.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Anand, who's your winner?
In similar vein, the stock market.
Okay.
Feel like I wake up every morning getting a notification on Robinhood that Apple record high, Alibaba record high,
Nike record high,
Nike, Google. It's just
never goes down.
It doesn't go
Remember like a year ago when they had that dip?
Literally
that was?
1 year ago, the stock market was falling from the sky.
And we were in this office saying, I think this is it. Let's tighten up.
We should have just poured our life savings into the stock.
We'd be so rich if we just bought Apple.
I know.
Gosh. Who would have thought, man? But it's just like, what I don't get, because once again, new territory for me, I don't understand how we're so long overdue for a dip. Things feel so chaotic, but the stock market is just on absolute fire.
Rich people keep getting richer.
That's it, right?
Like if the
Because we're
stock
talking about all
market,
these unemployed, like I know unemployment, I don't trust those numbers, but like the middle class is gone, people are struggling, people never recovered from 2008.
yeah,
Companies are sitting with more cash on their balance sheet than ever before.
yeah,
I feel like there's going to come a day when these companies somehow are looked at as responsible to solve this middle class issue.
I mean, I think we're here.
Yeah, but
I just don't think general public is fully aware of that.
That's the problem.
I think the elite feel that those companies and the wealthiest people have a responsibility to
But
help.
once the general public knows it, that's when it gets done, right?
Yeah.
That's when you get riots.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if there's bring down Nike, Facebook, blah, 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 hitting a 52-week high is a bad thing because it just exposes you.
Yeah.
I think rich people just have more and more security.
Yeah.
So I think there's like 6 Suburbans that sit outside Zuck's house. There might be 12 next year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he'll be fine. Okay. My winner is the Winklevi twins.
Ah.
So we talked about the book Bitcoin Billionaires. I just finished it over the weekend. Man, it really opened my eyes to the Winklevi twins, and there's a little bit more to them than the movie showed.
You're a big fan.
Big fan.
I think they're geniuses.
They're two genius, good-looking jocks.
I changed my view of them.
Yeah.
I hated them after The Social Network.
I think everyone did, unfortunately.
Yeah, man, they got to be pissed. I mean, the same guy who wrote the book that led to Social Network wrote Bitcoin Billionaires, and they had to be pissed at this dude because it talks about it in the book, like it tells they'll be walking down the street and people stop them and ask them for pictures and stuff. Even though it wasn't them in the movie,
yeah,
people just see two jockey, good-looking twins, I guess, and ask them if they're the Winklevi.
Yeah.
And they were a joke. They tried to then go like, all right, well, what are we going to do? Let's go to Silicon Valley and start investing. Let's start, Winklevi Capital or whatever. And everyone just laughed at them and wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole. And even when they started having early success in Bitcoin, all of the articles were like
Facebook losers.
Yeah, like look at these losers.
Yeah,
I don't trust anything the Winklevi are behind. It's like Bitcoin plus Winklevi is like the least trustworthy thing. Now they're billionaires. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and what we talked about offline, how they basically were ostracized from Silicon Valley because everyone needs to cozy up to Facebook.
Yeah.
And everyone knew that Zuck had a personal vendetta against the Winklevoss twins. If you think about his wrath, Eduardo, who's obviously famous in the movie, he moved to Singapore.
Yep.
I know he partially did that for tax reasons, but he probably also knew, like, no one's taking my money here either.
Yeah, for sure. If you don't have, like, these guys just had that, like, Olympic rower jockey mentality of, like, we're going to figure it out. But I think if you don't have that, you're like, fuck it. Like, I made so much money, I'm just going to
go to Singapore and chill.
But they also talk about... their new company is called Gemini.
Yep.
And then Facebook gets into crypto and their company is called Libra.
Right.
And, it's just like this funny...
pettiness.
It's almost like you're still these petty little college kids at this level. And then she talks about, I forget the guy's name, one of the number 2 or 3 at Facebook. They ran into him at Burning Man and had this like, Burning Man like hug moment.
Like, we stole it
recently.
Not that long ago, a few years ago, I think.
We stole the idea.
Yeah,
but it's all good.
But here on the playa,
we're all rich.
We're all rich.
Everyone's rich on the playa.
Burning Man has come up a lot in both of those. But because I started the Uber one too.
Yeah.
And it seems like all of
every
tech
time I'm with some weird looking old guy, he's like, "Ooh, Burning Man." Like,
the best part about Burning Man is everyone goes to like find themselves and discover themselves. And the funny thing is, you're supposed to be with like less material stuff or no material stuff, but everyone flies in on a private jet.
Yeah.
And they talked about $1 million.
Yeah, they talked about in the Bitcoin thing how they were going to go hang out with this guy. I forget what the guy was, or what his name was. But it was one of the first 3 guys at Facebook. And they were going to go hang out with him the next day, but Zuckerberg flew in and was serving like grilled cheeses in the middle of the desert and then flew out.
He just came to serve 2 cheese sandwiches and left.
I'll tell you what, if you have a problem with the elite and all this billionaire stuff, just blow up Burning Man.
It's gone.
Literally. You could just
You want to solve tech? If you hate tech founders, go.
It's done.
I'm going to start a whole new thing where I'm going to pick a state somewhere in the middle. I don't know where, a suburbia.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a festival like Live Like Regular People. And it's just going to be like suburban lifestyle.
Yeah.
Where you wake up. You pick up the newspaper.
Yeah.
You gotta drive to work.
Yeah.
You go to the grocery store. Mm-hmm. You go to lunch.
Take the kids to school.
You take the kids to school. You have, and this is part of it. I charge you $50,000.
Yeah.
You get 1 week to live like everybody else. Yeah. I guarantee you, these morons would pay for it.
The same burners?
Yes. They'd be like, "Have you done suburbia?
Have you been to suburbia? Yeah, it really opened my eyes.
Did you know that these people drive their kids to school?
Do you know that a big bus comes and all the kids ride to school together?
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting. There's some driver on it that you don't even know.
I feel like this should have been a Silicon Valley episode.
Yeah, absolutely could have. You get a MAGA hat. You get a costume.
You get a costume.
Damn it. That'd be a good like, South Park episode. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think you should think about it.
Okay.
It's your best idea since Jewel Rehab.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Dick Off was pretty popular.
Yeah, Dick Off was good. Okay. Who is the biggest loser of the week?
Mine is going to be tobacco companies.
Nice.
Raising the age limit to 21, I think is going to really open up a massive opportunity for cannabis in states where it's legal. So now you just graduated high school, you're 18.
Get yourself some pot.
Get yourself some pot.
Trying to smoke something.
Yeah, like it's the notion of smoking, right? And cannabis could have this enormous popular culture impact because at 21, there's a lot you can do between 18 and 20. Sure, you can get cigarettes and Juul pods illegally, obviously, But I just think it's going to open up some regularity in cannabis for high school kids when they turn 18, and going to push tobacco back a little.
Well, that's probably good. I mean, long term.
Yeah.
Right? So tobacco loses, but I think humans win.
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder what it is in our human nature that made smoking just endlessly cool.
Marketing and addiction.
But it's just cool. There's just something about cool.
It's like Joe Campbell's a cool guy.
Yeah, James Dean with a cigarette.
Marlboro. Think about it.
Walt Disney.
Have you
Walt
seen
Disney.
Have you seen Thank You for Not Smoking?
Yeah.
Like when you see how people were marketing cigarettes back then.
It's cool, but even like the Native Americans are passing around peace pipes.
It's still cool in the club to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
People are smoking left, right, and
DJs
center.
love it's really cool. Dave Chappelle, the highest rated Saturday Night Live for 35 years.
Yeah.
This guy lights up a cigarette.
Not even a jewel, just a straight up
Straight-up
old
cigarette.
school cig.
I mean,
that's what makes it cool.
that scene alone probably created 5,000 new smokers.
Oh,
Five,
easily.
like 500,000. Yeah, I mean, like it's so cool. Dave Chappelle's the coolest of the cool.
You should pick it up.
Maybe.
Pick it up.
Yeah.
Come on. Okay. Anand, who's the loser?
Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what she did, but she deserves it.
So in the Democratic debate last week, she takes a shot at Buttigieg, saying we don't need a guy who's going to wine cave hobnobbing with billionaires to solve our problems.
I agree.
However, an op-ed piece came out from someone who was actually there. And he's like, I'm not a billionaire, I'm not a millionaire. And you had to donate, I think, max out 2,800 contributions to have the possibility of attending. I'm sure there were billionaires, but he was saying that there was doctors, there was teachers, substitute teachers that were asking thoughtful questions like about health insurance and primary care and how are you going to solve this? How are you going to solve that? And Elizabeth Warren has a pattern of just misleading the country time and time again.
She's a joke. You know what I hate? I know that this is how the game works and you got to do it, but like, I wish Democrats would spend less time bashing Trump and also bashing each other. Yeah. And just focus on like a positive message for how you're going to change things for the better. Because I just feel like all this bullshit about Buttigieg and his billionaire cape, who gives a shit? Like focus on what you're going to do and getting voters. I just feel like they're going to lose because they're doing this dumb shit. They're playing the wrong game
because Trump is the master of that, and that works for his strategy. Getting the soundbite,
smoke all of them.
Getting soundbites. Democrats, that's not your game.
Yeah,
soundbite. You're not that good at social media the way that Donald is.
And that's what I'm saying is like you're going to spend this much of your time roasting each other, and then you're going to get to these debates, and Trump's just going to do it so much better than all of you.
Trump already said he's not. He said there's rumors that he may not do a debate with whoever the Democratic presidential candidate.
He's genius.
I think that's the right move.
Yeah.
You're not.
It's like when Drake said he's not doing press anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
Really? Yeah.
You know, like years ago, Drake was like, "I'm not doing press anymore.
I don't need to."
I'm Drake.
Yeah.
And Trump's doing the same thing.
Yeah. I like that move by Trump because you can't. There's not too much upside for him debating.
No upside.
Yeah. He's an idiot.
Although I mean, it would be incredible content.
Yeah.
I hope he does it.
Depends. If it's Joe Biden, he'll do it.
Yeah,
because he knows Joe Biden's an idiot, so it's easy to be
Joe.
him.
Yeah. Okay. I have a controversial.
Hold on.
Yep.
Did you? How'd your view of Bitcoin change or transform after reading the book?
Well, I just understand. I believe in it a lot more.
Okay.
Only because
the Winklevoss.
Because the Winklevoss. See, what happens is there are these two. They're men of Harvard.
Yeah.
And no, I think that when you read about like number one, you understand what it is more, how it started, and then all of the people that are fighting to make like it feels to me like Uber. Like it feels like you have this thing that is undeniably will play a role in our society, a pretty big one. Who knows how big? And then you have all the old sort of establishment trying to stop it, and all these really smart people fighting for it. It's like Uber. It's like the internet. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I obviously agree.
It feels like long term, undeniably, it's going to play a big role. Will it be how all of us spend our money and pay each other? I don't know. That seems ambitious, but like you can tell that it's only being stifled by its bad stigma, first of all, and like Silk Road and all that like sketchy shit. And then by old people not wanting to change, right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay, so either way, I'm doubling down because we're at a low right now. We're at like 7,000. It's a good time to buy. But I'll tell you what, they talk about like in 2012 or whatever, how this shit was at like $10 a coin. And I'm like, geez, like, had we only known then?
My roommate at the time did. He's the one who unfortunately has to buy me my first class ticket.
Oh, he's fine.
Hopefully he held on to one coin.
No, he sold everything.
He did?
Yes.
And you could walk into like a CVS and buy coins.
You're saying right now?
No, you could.
Yeah.
Back then, when it was like $10, they had a deal where they went to like CVS and places like that, and you could transfer money into Bitcoin through BitInstant and these different things. And it was like $7-10 a coin. You could just went in there with a few $100.
Do you know what
a millionaire.
The shitty thing is? Most people who did buy back then, like they talk about in the book, I obviously haven't read it, but I heard the interview.
Yeah.
How they stored the Bitcoin in different banks across the country because they took their private keys.
Yep.
There's so many people who bought coins back then that either lost their hard drives, lost... The author, Mesrich, said he lost his Bitcoin.
Yep.
When I forgot my password of Bitcoin, when it was hitting its all-time high...
Oh, it was Kara Swisher.
Kara Swisher lost 100,000.
Sorry, yeah.
And I was trying to sell my Bitcoin. I was so nervous because it was so hard to get my password back.
Yeah, and it's really tough. Back then, a lot of the exchanges got hacked. There wasn't like proper storage. So if you weren't savvy enough to actually store your own coins in physically with the private keys, you probably lost them. So there's a lot of people who
probably had money.
Yeah. There's 3 million Bitcoin, I think, that are actually permanently lost.
Oh my gosh.
Of the 21.
I just want to know who the freaking creator is.
They suspect it's a team of people. I don't think anyone thinks
I can't believe one of the biggest suspects is Elon Musk. That's like a known
conspiracy.
Yeah.
I like the Winklevoss. They created Facebook. Why couldn't they create Bitcoin?
If they did, then that whole book is a lie.
Yeah, because they bought it.
They were late.
Maybe that's part of the whole.
They weren't late. They were early, but they were late.
But they talk about going to this secret meeting with Naval, and the guy was there. So whatever happened, Satoshi, whatever that created it, passed it down to one person. It was the first person he sent it to, and said like, "Here, you take this and run with it," right?
Yeah.
And that guy was at this meeting, and they're like, maybe he's the guy. Like, if anyone's the guy, that's the guy, because he was the first guy that ever like got it. Anyway, to people who didn't read the book, we sound like we're rambling about nothing. But read the book.
I'll watch the movie.
Especially if you're, you'll watch it in 7 years when Bitcoin's 250,000. If you have any interest in Bitcoin, it's a really fun way to understand it a little bit more because it's a good story.
Yeah.
Not just like learning a lesson. Okay, my loser, controversial. I'm sorry, mom and dad. My loser's Christians.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah,
billions of people.
Yeah, and this is why I think you know what? I support it.
Even Pete's offended.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm technically a loser then.
I support the religion. I have no problem with it whatsoever. I just think like you got to tighten up. I think religion is being challenged as time goes on. Less and less people are going to churches and are regular Christian. Going the regular route.
Yeah, the traditional.
You got to you can't have Kanye maybe maybe that's good marketing. You can't be doing these Trump, God chose him thing. You got to tighten up because young people are looking at that and saying, okay, that's not
how it works.
Yeah. So if you want to recruit more young people and spread the faith, I think you got to. God, I think, chose a lot of in the Bible chose a lot of unsavory characters to tell the word, but he also was against a lot of evil and bad, and you just tighten it up. It feels a little...
I agree. That's a great point.
Feels a little loose.
It does.
And it's not a good time.
No.
Okay. D, give us some content recommendations.
Hot.
Scary.
Movie.
Whenever he says
I
that.
know. Movie? You said movie?
It's a movie.
Oh, boy.
It's actually could compete with Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, no.
It's that good.
Who would have thought?
So it's slightly worse than Hobbs and Shaw.
It's called Six Underground. It's on Netflix.
Oh, gosh.
It is fire. Ryan Reynolds is the star.
Okay.
It is unbelievable stuff.
Sadly, I've heard it's good.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a Netflix movie?
Michael Bay film. So the old school action type of movies that, they only did theatrical releases of. Netflix went and probably paid, I don't know how much for this. This movie looks like it cost $250 million to make.
And it was exclusive for Netflix? Was it another theater than Netflix? Or
I don't know.
I think it was just Netflix.
It was just Netflix.
They are breaking the bank.
This movie is incredibly well done. It is ridiculous. It's pretty funny too. Because Ryan Reynolds is just, he's that sarcastic.
Yeah, he's funny.
That character.
Yeah, he's good.
And it's just like some CIA, fucking take down the dictator type shit.
When did you watch this one?
When?
Yeah.
Last night.
Wow.
You're just bored, and that's what you chose.
No
Yeah.
pod.
No
What?
pod.
We didn't record the pod last
Yeah, you
night.
I
know
know,
what to
that's why I
do.
soaked it in. 7:15, Dom's asleep. Give me this movie. There's a billboard right above my house on Sunset, so I see it every day.
Oh, that's how you chose.
Yeah. I was like, Michael Bay film on Netflix? Sign me up.
And you loved it.
I loved it.
Okay. All right. Anand?
Richard Jewell.
Who's
So
that?
there's a movie that's out right now in theaters. Richard Jewell is the
Atlanta
guy
bomber?
that they suspected was the
Oh.
bomber in the Atlanta Olympics in
Yeah.
'96.
Yep.
And this poor guy went through hell.
Is that
'Cause
in
they
theaters?
framed it. Yeah, that's in. Because I mean, the story is he wasn't the bomber, and he was framed. John Hamm's in it. He's great.
And it's a true story.
It's a true story.
Yeah.
And they were just basically trying to pin it on him because
Yeah.
they didn't have the answer.
And
It's
then,
just
for
scary.
those that don't know,
It's not
he
good
went
for-
on
yeah.
to later create Jewel.
So
Isn't that
things
his
worked
billionaire?
out.
Yeah, kidding. Don't believe that.
Don't use that.
You should Photoshop a Richard
Jewell.
J-U-U-L.
He was so distraught from the Atlanta bombing case. He started smoking. He's like, there has to be a better
If
way.
you believe the movie, this guy like really cared about his job and really cared about doing his job the right way. And he was like a little slow, and the FBI just took advantage of that.
Pete, be careful out there, man.
They're gonna frame him.
Yeah, I got to watch it. It looks really good.
Yeah,
You went
it's
and
good.
saw it in theaters?
Yeah, last week,
At the Grove?
of course.
Nice. Mine is my next book. I'll be the dork of the podcast.
Okay.
So I loved the
The
story
name of the book is called "I'll Be My Next Book."
what?
What's the name of the book?
I'll tell you. So I was so I was so happy with the story of Bitcoin that I heard another good book was the story of Uber. It's called Super Pumped, and so I got that and I started reading it last night and I love it.
Okay.
And it feels like it's written pretty much the same way that the Winklevoss book is written. And
Same guy.
Nope, different guy. And it's great. And I mean, all these details about, how Uber first started. And right now we're still in San Francisco. We're trying to break out. I think we're going to come down to LA soon. But we've just been served a cease and desist from the city of San Francisco. And we're threatened to be jailed tomorrow if we keep operating. So what are we
no.
going to do? I don't know,
What are
but I'm
they gonna
guessing
do?
the pit bull Travis will get us out of this.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So check it out. It's a good holiday read when you're, stuck in your family homes.
We always talk about it like Uber happened right in front of us.
Yeah.
We have friends that are close with the founders. We know tons of people who made a ton of money on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, it's pretty wild. And the fact that, luckily, I don't think you and I, Anand, were actually offered to
No.
invest. Right?
No, we were not.
D was.
Yeah.
But,
I'm a
luckily,
visionary. I just had to say no.
luckily he didn't tell
I
us.
didn't want to be associated with that Saudi money 15 years ago.
Yeah, I get it.
I saw what was happening.
I get it. You've always been
You're
a
a
clean.
visionary.
I stand with the people.
Yeah.
You said we were doing live from Riyadh.
But my point is just think about,
I
because
I evolve.
here's what else is, yeah, exactly. Here's what else is crazy is we have had other investments together shortly after.
Yeah.
Imagine if back then we would have been like, hey, you guys want to just throw it together
Yeah.
50 grand and put it into this
We
thing?
didn't have group chat.
No
We'd be
chance
group
we'd have
chatting from a
group chat.
friggin' boat somewhere.
No, we would not be group chatting.
We
no
would-
one would ever
would
know
go
who we
The
dark.
only
are.
thing, you know what
We would
happens
go
every
dark.
time all these guys get rich? What do? Next? They try to get famous. You would have been, what's his name?
Naval.
No. I picture you more as, what's the other guy's name? He's on Shark
Gary
Tank.
V.
On Shark Tank.
Damon John.
He's a guest on Shark Tank.
Rohan Oza.
Rohan Oza. That got rich, and now he's like, you know what? I got to build my thing a little.
Yeah.
You'd be trying to pod.
If I was
I think
married,
he'd go straight to TV.
Think if we had a podcast and we were early Uber investors, the trust we would have would be through
I'd be
the
in
roof.
Cabo.
You'd be saying the wildest shit, and people would be like, "D said so."
yeah.
That's
You
true.
know? People would literally be throwing Pelotons off their balcony.
I mean, so many people's careers were made because they somehow got lucky and were
Yeah.
early in Uber.
We would have been looked at as massive investors.
People have raised billions of dollars just by being an early investor in Uber.
Geniuses.
So we were close. It happened right under our noses.
That's as good as it gets.
Yeah, whatever. At least we get to ride the Gary Vee train and say we almost invested in Uber. I passed on Uber. Okay, that is all we got. Oh nope, we have one more segment. Guys, it's your lucky day. So we've been trying to add new segments to the show. It's been a little rocky. This segment in general has been real rough. We were hoping for more, but we really left it in Pete's hands. And,
It's been awful.
we got what we got. So, Pete, this is time for Pete's an Idiot. It's the segment where once a week Pete has the microphone and he can tell us anything, ask us anything, bring up anything worth talking about, whatever he wants. Pete, what do you got?
Today, Roth IRA. What is it? Is it useful? Should somebody be looking at something like that? Give me your feedback.
That's what I like for a
That's a
Pete
genuine question.
Do you own an IRA today? No. That you did? So, Roth IRA, I believe, has a lot of benefits. If your child goes to college, I think you can use the funds. I think you can use it for your first home as well. It's a great tax deferred investment, but you have to contribute every year into it, and you can invest out of it. I think for young people who are disciplined and can save money, it's great. But with the exception, I think, of college and first home, you can't withdraw the money until you retire, or I think it's 65 or 70 or whenever it is.
Yeah.
So as long as you feel you don't need those funds for anything, I have a lot of friends who invested in it and they've ballooned into big chunks of money. But you're 20. How old are you?
3.
Okay, so you may not be able to touch that money maybe for 50 years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I always ignored it. I just think it's probably a smart thing to do. And had I done it when it was first brought up to me at 22, when I first started making reality TV money, it'd probably be worth a lot now.
Yeah. But you could have done that in a
you could have done that last
S&P,
year in Apple.
Yeah, you could do that in an S&P index fund.
Yeah.
Put money into it every year. But yes, there are some clear tax benefits to doing it.
But not being able to take it to, I don't know, it just seems boring to me. It's by 70.
You could take it. There's
whether
just
I'm
a penalty.
rich or not.
I had
I
one
am what I am.
that my parents set up for us when we were 18, and I think our mom put a little money in, then I put a little money in, and then when 5-4 shit the bed 3 years after it started, I broke it because I needed the money and I paid the penalty because I was couldn't pay rent.
I just don't want to get rich when I'm 70. Maybe I'll regret that when I'm 70.
Yeah, it's man, I should have done.
If I'm broke at 70, it's this is what it is. I'm gonna settle into that life.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a Bitcoin billionaire.
Check out early. I can't afford, good health care.
Hopefully you're a Bitcoin billionaire.
I'll be a Bitcoin billionaire.
Doesn't matter. But I think, look, there's so many ways you can save for retirement. It's just a long ways away. And I don't know. I like the idea of conservatively investing in an index fund, and God forbid you need the money, you can get it. It's liquid market.
Or just throw all that shit in Bitcoin or something. Fucking go for it.
Just pray.
You know what I mean? Just make or break.
Yeah, there's people that I went to college with that I remember they put it in, and randomly I would run into him do you still do that? He's like, yeah, it's worth $1 million now or whatever. Because now it's been 20 years almost since we graduated from college.
Yeah.
But if you're disciplined and you could do it, it's great. But it's hard.
It all depends on your risk appetite.
Yeah.
Okay.
How was that?
Pete, thanks, man. That was pretty good.
Okay.
I like you hitting us with some stuff that some people might not know. You can be the voice of some of our listeners that are curious. Mm-hmm. That was a good one.
I'm a man of the people.
You're a man of the people. For real.
For real.
Okay. Make sure you guys subscribe to our newsletter, group-chat.com. And if you already subscribed and you're not getting any messages, make sure you get us out of your spam folder. We are literally a hair away from 1,000 reviews, which is our goal.
Yep.
So now that the podcast is over, before you go to your next one, just take one quick second and leave us 5 stars and a review on the podcast app on your phone or on iTunes. That's all we got. I hope everyone has an incredible New Year's. Do we have another episode? We don't, right? Is this it for...
This is it.
This is the last episode of 2019?
Of the decade.
Wow. So 2020, we'll be back.
Don't you have what? No, you're recording on the 29th.
Oh, yeah.
To release on the 30th.
Never mind.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Yep.
False alarm.
Scratch that.
Okay, never mind. So we'll see you on the 30th.
Okay.
Take care, guys.